the way I feel about Bellinger is I would love for him to come back to the Yankees. I really would. He does, and we know what he does, so I'm not wasting anybody's time telling you what he does. What he does, they need. Now, the problem is what he does, the Mets also need. And the reported deal, and Schoenfeld, I believe is how you say his name, not only did he give you specific contractual parameters, 6 years, 180, he went so far as to say he thinks it's going to happen or predicts in the next couple of days. So, in all probability, before Christmas. Things could break down. There's a million different people out there with a million different sources. I'm not taking this as gospel, but I'm certainly not here to refute it. He's a reputable journalist, and I respect that. And, I've known Feinstein for a long time. I like his work. I think he's good. I don't think he's one of these sensationalists, which drive me crazy. So when he says the Mets are, quote, very in, I'm buying that, and I believe it. Okay. Now, Bellinger at 8 years, which is not going to happen, is sheer idiocy. I think Bellinger at 7 years is irresponsible. I think Bellinger, if he goes to the Mets for 6 years and Hal Steinbrenner allows that to happen, that should be probably much more even than Soto, the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened under his watch. Because it's one thing to swoop in and, make these concessions, which, by the way, I'm kind of happy the Yankees didn't make all those sweet concessions for Soto's family. Don't get me wrong. Would have been nice to see a couple of more years of Soto and Judge. It was phenomenal for the 1 year. But big picture, the defense, lack of foot speed. I know he stole 40 bases. He's Ricky. I know. My bad. I just don't think he's going to age incredibly well, but I think it's an irresponsible contract. Now, the Mets could get out of it. He can opt out. Mets decide if they want to tack on some more money, they keep him or not. So it's not really basically a decade and a half worth of contract if they don't want it to be. So that's the trap door, which was smart by the Mets, right? But that's one thing, because I can compartmentalize all the good stuff and all the things that I think made that contract unnecessary for the Yankees to keep going. They went pretty far, and I was fine with it, all right? And they lost out, and he's a Met. And he had a good season, and I think this year he'll have a better season because he'll be more consistent, hopefully from the start and hopefully with runners in scoring position. But that's the Soto situation. If you allow the Mets to swoop in now, and take Bellinger, that is an unforgivable offense. It really is. Now, again, this is just an estimate. This is somebody, throwing out numbers, 6 years, 180. If it's 7 years, 190, if it's 8 years, which it won't be, but I'm just saying, whatever, stop. Not interested. I'm not even interested in him for 6 years, quite frankly, because I do think this has gotten to a point where he's now, like, how we present Bellinger is a little heightened. I mean, it's great to be versatile, truly, and it's great to make contact and play multiple positions and have some pop and be a good fielder and have pretty good wheels. But, I mean, he's not Ken Griffey Jr. or Bonds or A-Rod. Relax. Or Aaron Judge. But because of the desperation and the holes, the Mets more desperate because they have more holes, but the Yankees have holes as well because you don't know what Jones and Dominguez really are, et cetera. You don't know if Grisham bangs 34 home runs again, and you don't really know if Ben Rice can handle first base. So because of all that, the Yankees should be beyond motivated to keep him. I don't think that they are. I'm not really feeling it. See, let me tell you the way this works. The way this works is, it doesn't mean that it's always right, but when you get something that definitive, that concrete, 6 years, 180 for one guy, fine sand, Mets are very in. You haven't heard a peep about the Yankees with Bellinger. Now, maybe that is a good thing. Bellinger knows them. He knows them, and they know him, I should say. So there's really not a lot to volley to the media, to plant stories just to get a little extra juice. And, the leverage is what it is. Like, all right, I'm going to ask for this, and you know what I can do, and you're either willing to pay it or you're not. And at that point, Bellinger's going to have to make a tough decision. Whereas with, the Mets and his agent, you want to get that out there because you want to create competition. And if the Mets weren't interested in Bellinger, and the Dodgers, who I think have tepid interest, I don't think he's going to wind up there, even though they've been connected. But if you took out those two teams, Who's really chasing him outside of the Yankees? Maybe Toronto if they whiff on Tucker, right? Maybe. So you're creating a market. But 6 years, 180 is the drop dead point for me. I'm not going to year 7. He's not worth it. But if he goes to the Mets and it is 6 years, and like the Yankees have the ability to top that, at least in terms of money, maybe not years, and they don't, then that is just, that's just unacceptable. That is unacceptable. You cannot let the Mets swoop, and I've tried not to make this, and this was a mandate that me and Sal had probably halfway through the show, like after the first year. Like it always seemed to be, we're talking about the Mets, and then the Yankees pop in. We're talking about the Yankees, then the Mets pop in. No, I'm not trying to do this here, but they are not two separate issues. The Yankees need Bellinger. The Mets need Bellinger. The Mets took Soto from you last year. The Mets seem poised to take Bellinger from you this year. The onus is on the owner to step up, push everybody else out of the way. Cashman, the analytical nerds, whoever they are, get out of the way. Get me on the phone like you got on the phone with Judge from Italy. What do you need to make it happen? And make it happen. The PR hit, you don't recover from that. Like you might get me once. You get me again in back-to-back years. Well, now the tides are turning. And I know the Mets didn't have as good a season as the Yankees, and they haven't won since '86. But perceptually, everything that we thought Cohen would do, outside of keeping Pete, and I know that bothers you, I get it, but he's not done. And if he comes back into your crib and takes one of your valued players who makes you better at 3 different spots and who so cleanly fits behind Judge, and you don't fight back, then what the hell does the Yankee aura really mean at that point? What does it mean? He's not a perfect player, but he's perfect for you. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. 888-808-1019. It's BT on the Fan. Let me get, all right, Larry's up in Westchester. Get back to these calls. What up, Larry?
BT, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Can't complain. Listen, BT, again, with Bellinger, the Mets really, really need him very badly. But I still think when push comes to shove, Hal's going to step up and do the right thing. He's going to end up back with the Yankees. Probably for the 6 years, the $30 million, $180 million. I don't think you have anything to worry about as far as that goes.
To me, that's not how I operate. I don't just expect things to happen like I used to because they're the Yankees. And I'll let you. I know you want to make another point. See, yeah. And I'll let you. I promise. There was a point, and every Yankee fan knows where I'm coming from when I say this. Like, it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter how much it was. Giambi, you can get Giambi, of course, with the Yankees. Matsui from Japan, of course we're going to get him. Yeah. I mean, that's the way it went. And that was the expectation. Next, we're going to win the World Series. Why wouldn't we with the Yankees? I have not held on to that for a long time. Some people still do, even though that number is dwindling. So when you say I'm fine and they'll get him, I'm not taking anything for granted because it's a different mode of operation in the Bronx lately.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, BT. Like I said, I go way back with the Yankees and the Mets back into the 60s. And when Steinbrenner, the old man, owned the team, forget it, whoever he wanted, he got. It's changed drastically since Hal took over. But it's just, since the Mets took Soto, I just don't feel that Hal's going to step up at the last minute and retain Bellinger.
I mean, he might, but he better.
Yeah, that's just my gut feeling about it. And I believe me, I'd love to see him in a Met uniform. He's perfect for us. That being said, I know it's early in the offseason, but I still haven't seen any kind of concrete plan what the Mets are going to do. They've let over $100 million walk out the door, and yet McNeil is still on this team, which mystifies me.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, I was all for blowing up the team. I talked to Sal about it. But Alonso, how do you replace 40 homers and 120 RBIs despite the faults that he had?
Yeah.
I think that was a big mistake, and they're going to have a hard time replicating that production at first base. But we'll see what happens.
Well, Larry, that's the
San
point.
Diego.
Now finish up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
No, that's it. I mean, they're talking with San Diego. I heard some kind of rumors that they were interested in Tatis for Lindor, something like that. That wouldn't kill me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Lindor, I still think there's a lot more to him than meets the eye.
I feel you a little bit on that. Larry, thank you for the call, bud. Appreciate it. I mean, it's been a very quiet off season. I mean, this time last year, Sal's coming in here with the scepter and then the music and the red carpet and the purple robe, like Carly Race welcoming Soto. And I had to sit there and take it, and I did. But then my Yankees went out and did some good stuff. Got a closer who, up until last year, was the best in baseball. Better than Diaz. Not by much, but better. A little different, but better. Objectively speaking, not subjectively speaking. And they went out and they got Bellinger. And they went out and they did some things that I really liked. Goldschmidt didn't work out the way that I thought it might, but I thought the pivot was strong. I mean, all we're doing this year is losing guys, both teams. So that's got to stabilize itself really soon. It has been a very quiet, depressing hot stove. But I think what he just said about the Mets, how do you replicate Pete's production? You don't. And I've been saying this for a long time. And I think back then you were resistant to it because I don't think that you thought that Pete really would ever be gone. It sucks that he is. I get it. But never once did I say, no, go find another guy who's going to hit 40 home runs. There is nobody. I mean, it's like he's 37. When you're a fairly young guy and you're a prodigious home run hitter and you're a low maintenance teammate and you play every day and you've had some massive home runs and some big moments, generally your team doesn't let you leave. Usually. Except the Mets, which I agree with. But it was never, we'll find the next guy, put him at first base, 39 home runs, 113 ribbies, and oh yeah, by the way, hopefully a better fielder. No. My thought always was to build a better team. So you improve the defense, you're going to slice off 15 home runs, maybe more, but maybe get a higher average, maybe get fewer strikeouts, maybe get better on the bases, maybe become a better defensive right side. Certainly with Simeon and whomever you bring it for, it's going to be Polanco a little bit, and he's got good hands, so whatever, we'll see. But it was never like apples to apples. It was always, all right, Pete goes, there's an unconventional way to get better. That's what I've always thought, and they haven't done it yet. I mean, right now, the Mets are on a playoff team. Right now, their rotation stinks. They're not entering the season this way. Whereas the Yankees, if they don't get Bellinger, if he goes to the Mets or somewhere else, I don't really know what the pit. Maybe it's Bichette, maybe, which I'd be okay with, as I said yesterday. He could play shortstop this year. When Lombard is ready, he could then go to third base because McMahon's deal will be up, and then Volpe, if he deserves it, could go to second base, where he's probably better suited with his arm. Like, that would be okay. I don't know that they do it. And I'll also say this, if they do get Bellinger, then that's probably it. Maybe one more arm. So there's not much more coming. But what does come, certainly for the Yankees and to a lesser extent the Mets, it's going to determine if they're a playoff team. Not if they're a World Series type of team. I think it determines if they're going to go to the playoffs,